My questions to the Super Fund Association. So are you wanting the super funds to be part of this corporate housing model, are you? You're wanting to build and own houses in Australia?
A number of funds are already in that area, and we can provide details of that to the committee if it's helpful.
Okay.
Yes, as my colleague indicated in his opening statement, helping to develop and expand the provision of housing for Australians is an important goal, and where that fits in with the risk-adjusted returns for superannuation funds, it's a win-win situation for all Australians.
But do you think the Australian people want to rent their house from a super fund?
I think that they would be very happy with institutionally owned residential property where there is an option of having longer term tenancies rather than the more typical in the market situation where there is a lack of assurance of continuity of tenancy because of it's a sort of small scale sort of hobby activity for individual landlords. So I think
but what's wrong with mums and dads providing rental stock?
Nothing, and they're a very important part of the market. Also important is a potential institutional role where longer term tenancies can be provided.
Okay. But it would be a fundamentally different change to the character of Australian housing, wouldn't it, if you had major institutions owning houses?
Well, it's about a broader expansion of supply across the board. It's in addition to some of the other categories of investors that you're outlining. This is looking into institutional investors in addition. And as my colleague has outlined, it's also something which is currently the case, and measures like this seek to, make it even more, beneficial and make it, something that could continue to grow and continue to build on supply.
So I'm not sure we'll agree on that, but how many super funds are investing in this sort of housing at the moment?
I don't think we have a complete count of that. It's not something that is collected by APRA. I think that in the explanatory memorandum for the bills, there's a reference to residential housing being a relatively small proportion of super funds.
Okay, you don't know how many super funds are doing it now? You don't know?
There are several prominent ones, Aware Super, Australian Retirement Trust, Australian Super, I think have all been mentioned in this context.
Okay, what about CBUS? Are they doing it?
That would be, I don't have personal knowledge of that. I'm certainly aware that they are very active in a number of areas of property development, but that would be a question for CBUS.
Okay, well, can you take on notice how many funds are currently